Composting toilets are very interesting pieces of technology. We happen to like composting toilets because they do the same thing that nature does, and that is turn our excrement into a useful product for the earth. This is the future of solar, where it's integrated into the building.
The Clean Energy Resource Teams project, launched in 2003, connects citizens across the state with the technical resources they need to identify and implement community-scale energy efficiency and clean energy projects. A growing number of Minnesotans envision an energy future built on using energy wisely and generating energy from local renewable resources like wind, solar, biomass, and even hydrogen. The film you're about to see was created by the Central Region Clean Energy Resource Team, or CERT, to highlight some of the extraordinary energy projects happening right here in our own communities.
My name is Mike Kovakovich, and I'm the park manager here at Itasca State Park. This story starts with our site selection, and actually a little earlier than that, when the decision was made to make a new Mary Gibbs Mississippi Headwaters Center. It was done because the old facility was about 45 years old and not adequate, had some maintenance issues. But also we needed to do a better job of interpreting the site here, telling the many stories of the Mississippi headwaters, and we wanted to be able to do that year-round. So that drove the project where the interpretation could be viewed every day of the year, even though most of our visitors come during the summertime. Every day we have people that visit the headwaters here. We moved this facility further back. The facility actually sat about 100 feet to my right, closer to the river. It was within the impact zone, and so we wanted to move it further out. We also did not want to impact any of the archaeological site that is found here, so we did all of the building within the areas that had already been impacted. In fact, where we're standing used to be part of the parking lot. We reduced the parking lot size, pushed 3/4 of the building out into the parking lot, redid the parking lot, and one of the things we included in that was stormwater retention or stormwater ponds, so all of the drainage gets filtered before it ends up in the river. We also recycled the bituminous. That became part of the parking lot, and then we used native vegetation. All of the planting, which is still ongoing and in progress, is all native vegetation. We also utilized as many of the trees. We took out very few trees in construction of this site, some smaller ones on the edge of the parking lot here where the building is, but we're utilizing the trees and then with the plantings for shade, for energy efficiency in the summertime, and some protection from the wind in the wintertime. So those were all part of the natural environments that were used in the sustainable part of the design for this facility. All of the outdoor lighting and all the lighting in the building is high efficiency lighting. It uses motion sensors and light sensors and timers, so we don't have lights on up here when there are not people around or in the middle of the night. This part of the park is only open till 10 p.m., so we have very minimal lighting. Also, the lighting is all directional down, so it does not put light into the night sky. This is one of the sites our naturalists use for stargazing programs during the course of the summer, and we didn't want to add any more light and impact their ability to see the stars, which is one of the wonders of the park out here without all of the light. The building itself is about 6,000 square feet, but it also has 2,000 square feet of what we're standing underneath here that is covered, and another about 600 square feet of open covered space for outdoor seating for the dining room. The idea of utilizing the outdoors was so that interpretation that is spread all around here could be used year-round, and also it's a lot cheaper construction, less materials, less maintenance and upkeep to go about it that way. All the construction is modular construction, meaning that everything is in 4 and 8 foot increments, so there is minimal waste on materials during construction. All of the lumber is sustainable lumber. We have, like the decking here is FSC certified, all of it's certified. We have glue laminated boards. We have recycled product in here. We have agricultural composite boards that are made of wheat and sunflower seeds. And all of the plywood and decking is also certified. In fact, one of our displays here talks about the building itself and the sustainability of this building and the materials used. We utilized a lot of concrete. There's no carpeting in the building, and quarry tile, all long-lasting materials, shouldn't need to be replaced for many, many years. The concrete incorporated fly ash for strength. And then it also serves as a heat sink inside the building, so it does absorb some of that heat energy and retains that to lessen some of the energy needs. R value is a number that they use. The higher the number, the better insulating quality is found in it. The R value on the roof is an R40. The walls are R29. And all of the glass is high efficiency argon-filled windows. So we have a very good R value and all of that. Also, the windows are operable. So on those days where you really don't want to turn on the air conditioning, you can open the windows and use the natural ventilation. The air circulation system within the building is also efficient. We recover the heat from that and use that in heating and cooling the building. And the furnaces and compressors for the air conditioners are all high efficiency also. Our domestic water system here is an high efficient system, and starting with the way we heat the water and the water heater itself. But also we temper the water in the restroom, so and it's when you go to use those sinks and stuff, that water is set at a pre-temperature, so we don't have high temperature water or low temperature. It's always the same, and it's a recirculating system, so it lessens the demand where you don't need to run the water as long to get it up to that warm temperature. Also, from a water efficiency standpoint, I mentioned earlier, we have no irrigation system here, and that was part of the native plants, and again, to lessen the need to pump water and disperse it. When we started discussing the dining room aspect, we were very interested in using real dishes and a dishwasher because we didn't want to add things to the waste stream, all of the disposable products. In our research and in working with the architects and consultants on the project, we also found out it was cheaper from a labor standpoint or overall cost standpoint to have that dishwasher and someone doing the dishes that you're reusing and using the disposables. So we incorporated that. Also, all of the dining room furniture, the tables, the chairs, both inside and outside, were made by a local craftsman about 40 miles north of here with almost all native materials, sustainable materials again. And the sustainable lumber is a real important thing to us here at Itasca, but also to the department. Our department under the Commissioner's Office and then our Division of Forestry is currently finalizing, certifying all of Minnesota State Forests to sustainable practices, which will help us down in the future. So we wanted to be part of that. It's a big push in the department, but we felt it's real important here at Itasca. The sustainable lumber, what that means is that those trees are grown and harvested in a fashion that new trees and everything will come up from that, so it's a renewable resource. That we're not going in and cutting old growth and then just whatever happens. It's a planned forest system where when we're cutting the materials out, there's a plan to have new trees, new product growing in there, so it sustains itself over time. Now granted, that cycle can vary from 20 to a couple of hundred years depending on the type of timber, but it's important that we're treating the forest and making sure that when we take materials from it, it's still a healthy forest, and the sustainability is all about healthy forests. And then the last thing, and we have recycling centers spread throughout the parking lot for the public and here on the plaza. We also do recycling of all of our cardboard, things that food products or the gift shop items come in, so all of that's recycled too here at the park, and we have a recycling center, big one here behind the building also to take care of that.
My name's David Winkleman. I'm the director of the Water Foundation. We're a conservation organization out of Brainerd, Minnesota, and we're trying to teach people the good sense in harmonizing with nature and cooperating with nature and learning nature's lessons. So even though we're the Water Foundation, we're teaching people the practical ways that they can reduce pollution in their homes and also save money in the process. Today we're going to talk about 3 different types of technologies that you can use in your homes that are simple, money-saving, and practical devices. The first is a wind turbine, and we have a 4,500 watt wind turbine out here. The second is a series of geothermal heating and cooling systems where we're using the energy of the earth plus a little electricity to do the heating of the buildings and the cooling of the buildings in summer. And third, we're going to talk about the composting toilets that retain all the pollution and don't put out any pollution into the environment and yet create a product, black dirt, that's a soil nutrient and amendment. Wind turbines. I used to call them wind generators till one person asked me how much wind does it generate. And I said, well, it actually is a wind turbine. A turbine is turned by the wind, and the wind is free fuel. There's free fuel up there going by us every day, and if we put a turbine, a rotor into the wind and catch that free fuel, it can make electricity for us. And now there are incentives so that people can afford to put in wind generators. There's tax incentives and production incentives, and the price of electricity is going up a little bit every year. So there's money in the wind. And I think that we need to put the wind to work. Geothermal energy is actually solar energy. The earth captures the sunlight energy and stores it down up to 200 feet deep into the earth. And what geothermal contractors do is put in earth loops of one nature or another to gather that ambient temperature of the earth and use it to trigger heat pumps that actually produce heating and cooling through compressors and circulating pumps. This is the header for the geothermal system. We have 4 sets of geopipe, each are 600 feet long. This one's 12 feet, this is 16, 20, and 24 feet underground. And the fluid circulates through there and draws the temperature out of the earth and then brings it back to come into the heat pumps. It's actually a fairly simple process where we simply take a fluid and circulate it through 2,500 feet of pipe that's in the earth. And as it goes through, it perhaps gets 5 or 6 degrees warmer in the wintertime. And that 5 or 6 degree delta T is enough to trigger the heat pump and run the cycles for heating and cooling. So here we have 2 types of heat pump systems. We have a closed loop where we have that 2,400 feet of geopipe in the earth. It's actually underneath of our pond. We dug a pond and put the geopipe in the bottom of it at 4 different levels. Then the other type of a system we have here is called an open loop, where we pump water from a well in the earth that actually drains into the pond and helps keep our fish alive. We have sunfish and crappies and a little fish farm out here, and our geothermal pump keeps the fish alive. This pond behind me here is the end of our geothermal system, or it's the beginning of it. We have that 2,400 feet of geopipe laid in the base of the pond at the different levels I explained before. So that's called the closed loop system. And the open loop system comes out here where the water is exiting from the well in the building. Composting toilets are very interesting pieces of technology. I've been selling them for about 10 years now, and it's really fascinating talking to people about their toilet systems. Most people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it until there's a problem. We happen to like composting toilets because they do the same thing that nature does, and that is turn our excrement into a useful product for the earth. Well, so we've actually named our composting toilet here because it's a working ecosystem. It's one of the hardest working members of our staff, so we call him Phil. So we feed Phil every day. This is the compost chamber. This is where Phil lives and works hard every day. And the compost comes in from 3 bathrooms upstairs and falls into this large chamber where it's mixed with the toilet paper and sawdust and eventually produces black dirt. As you can see here, This again is the result of 9 years of use and about 58,000 uses. And yet there's nothing we've had to take out. After 9 years and 58,000 uses, we have about a foot of black dirt in the compost chamber. Well, the composting toilet here is just like a regular toilet. It just has a large chute that goes down, but there's no flush. There's no water. So there's no condensation dripping in the summer times. There's no place for bacteria to form. So there's no pollution and there's no smell. The smell in the bathrooms is taken out by a fan that's running all the time, drawing the air out, down into the chute of the bathroom and out of the building in a stack. That takes the moisture out and the smell out of the toilet. This is a smaller version of a compost toilet. This one's big enough to handle a family of 4. And we named this one Phil Jr. You can hear a motor running there. It turns the compost with a motor inside of stainless steel arms and grates. So the other one works on a gravity principle, but this one has an electric motor in it. Okay, this is our power center. We have multiple power sources on the premises here. We have the power company, then we have solar power and wind power, and that's where they come in. And then the solar and wind, which is DC current, comes into a voltage regulator where it's then charged into the batteries. And from the batteries it comes to the inverter. And the inverter is what turns it into AC power to power the building and the lights and everything. This is the brains of the system. It's pretty much foolproof and simple. This whole system causes us to be a power company. So now, as a power company, we generate our own power and we work with our local power company to sell the power to them. So when we're making more power than we need, it automatically feeds back into the power company and gives us a credit on our meter. And here we have some of the latest technologies in solar panels. This is the future of solar, where it's integrated into the building. This is actually a peel-off stick-on back, where this goes right over the top of a metal building roof or other smooth roofs. And this is a solar shingle, where when you replace your shingles, you can replace them with solar panels, so your roof becomes your generator. The Water Foundation is an educational campus located east of Brainerd in a set of buildings we call the eco-domes, where we have all these technologies here for people to come out and see and touch and look at the dials and the numbers and actually walk through a sustainable building complex. And in addition to visiting us, you can also go to the internet and take a virtual tour and go through several hundred pages of information, practical things about what you can do to reduce pollution in your home, not only with all these great technologies, but things like compact fluorescent light bulbs and low-flow shower heads and very practical things that we can do with our homes and our vehicles are all available at our website called thehopshop.net.
Hi, my name is Earl Willett. I'm the Director of Buildings and Grounds with Brainerd Schools. We're here at Riverside School. We've gone through a number of upgrades in the school, and we've done this for a number of reasons. The high cost of energy is something that we at the district have been very cognizant of, and lately the cost of energy has gone up even higher. These costs, along with the need to improve air quality for our students, have really driven us to these projects which we've done at this school and other schools around the district.
In the year 2000, the school district and the superintendent, Jerry Walseth at the time, had some visions of improving the learning environment for the school district of Brainerd. One of the things we were brought in as a partner, Johnson Controls, to look at the quality learning environment that existed at that time. And they saw that they could have a significant improvement to the learning environment with indoor air quality improvements. So one of the things that they want to do is not just bring in more fresh air for the school, but do it in a way that's cost effective for the district. There are studies, many studies that show both that a poor indoor air quality has a detriment to a student's ability to learn, and a good quality learning environment good lighting, good natural day lighting, nice and comfortable workspace, has a positive effect on students' ability to learn.
We've replaced the old air handling units, the univents that we had in the classrooms, with modern computer-controlled air handling units. We've added occupancy sensors in the classroom to turn lights on and off. We've added heat recovery wheels in the units to actually save energy. We've had some history on energy savings with the heat recovery wheels at Nisswa School. For instance, the first year we ran those, we saved 48% on our gas bill.
Here you're looking at an example of a heat recovery wheel, and the spinning of the wheel is allowing us to take the heat that's generated inside the building from the lights, the computers, the students, the staff. As it extracts and leaves the building, this heat, through this heat recovery wheel, puts the heat back into the fresh air or incoming air into the space.
This is an example of an air handling unit that was put into a storage area. We have two ways that we do this. We either put them in a storage area or an area that's not being used as a classroom, or we mount them on the roof of the building in their own enclosure. This is a modular, self-contained air handling unit that replaces the univentilators for approximately 14 classrooms. And the nice part about this unit, it doesn't occupy any classroom space. Here's another example of a heat recovery wheel. The way these units actually work, the desiccant in the removal of water from the air actually takes heat along with it and transmits that heat into the incoming airstream from the outside.
Is we've incorporated dehumidification into the systems so that we can maintain a relative humidity level inside the building at 50% relative humidity or less. What that means is the ventilation systems are actually drying out the school, making sure we're not bringing in moisture on those hot, humid days where an air handling system that would be bringing in a lot of CFM or fresh air would be bringing that hot, humid air into the building, which could cause mold growth inside the facility. So by having the dehumidification types of systems, it allows us to continually improve the learning environment and reduce indoor air quality issues.
The installation of the dehumidification systems not only improve the air quality for students and staff, but reduce the ability for mold to grow in these spaces as we control the relative humidity to 50%. These units, being self-contained, allow us to get in here in the wintertime if we have a failure on anything, to make any repairs, to do any filter changes or any other type of maintenance, and also protects the units from the environment.
As part of the units, they all have different filter systems. We've got a high level filtration, so we're filtering that fresh air that's coming into the school to make it even more fresh. So in a lot of cases, the air inside the building is cleaner than the air outside the building. The other thing that we've incorporated in our projects is airflow measuring stations to validate and verify the amount of fresh air that is coming into the building, and that information is relayed back to the computer system. The school facility is set up with dehumidification as well. And one of the specific things that's unique to the Medicine system is what this is a comfort chart. And we're at the school today on a Saturday, so the kids aren't here in the school today. But what this chart shows is that 90-some% of people are comfortable when they fall within this red area. So you can see the cluster of classrooms right now are at a certain relative humidity as well as a certain temperature inside the classroom. And this one right here happens to be the room we're in right now, which is the maintenance office, which is right next door to the boiler room. So you can see how it does get warmer in this room because of being close to the boiler room.
We got a program called the Medicine program that Johnson Control has introduced into the school program, and a training program for the engineers and custodians. It's a program that we watch a computer daily and periodically during the day. Click on the map of the school and you'll get the readings of the temperatures in each and every classroom and office. You can maintain almost any aspect of the air handling system from this controlling.
That have this system feed to my computer in my office so that I can look at every classroom that's on the system in the morning when I come to work and see that all the classrooms are within their operating parameters, and if there are any problems then I can see those as well. And this is an example of a classroom with the occupancy sensors. As you notice, we walked into the classroom, the lights came on. These lights will stay on for approximately 30 minutes after the students go out. Also, you can see we have new lighting in this classroom. This is high energy efficient lighting. We have a new air system. We've got the diffusers on the ceiling, which deliver the air nice and uniformly to the areas in the classroom. The main Metasys computer actually controls these thermostats and allows 4-degree adjustment for the teacher when she's in the classroom. This building goes into night setback at approximately 7 o'clock at night, and the heat will be turned down automatically to 64 degrees throughout the building. If someone would want to come in to use this classroom after hours, they could actually set this, reset this button on this thermostat, and would give the teacher, whoever be operating in this room, an hour of heat in that room, and then it would reset itself to night setback. So these are some of the things we've done. We've got feedback from students and teachers that by reducing the amount of CO2 in the classroom, where we've had as high as 28 to 3,000 parts of CO2, now we're down to 1,000 parts of CO2. The kids are much more alert. They go home alert, and it's being proven that their ability to learn has been quite improved.
Healthier children. It's just created a better environment all through the school system.
I want to emphasize that these systems are very reliable. We have a very good uptime on them. They do a really great job. The installation of these systems has not only helped the students and staff at Riverside School and the other schools where we've installed them, but it also has been a great benefit to the taxpayers. These systems are very great energy savers. In some cases, we've seen as high as 45 to 50% energy savings where we have heat wheels installed.
We worked with the district to cut their costs for off-peak electricity, make sure that the windows are not drafty, and other energy areas that we dealt with during the project. And this allowed the district to maintain a large savings.
All in all, the systems are a great benefit to the students and staff at Brainerd Public Schools, and also a benefit to the taxpayers because we are reducing energy costs while at the same time improving air quality.
One of the big challenges schools face continually is not enough funding to be able to do these types of improvements. One of the things that our job is to help schools find that funding, and a lot of times you do find it in wasted energy used resources. So you can see here we were able to save a lot of energy, a lot of dollars that get reverted back into the classroom, into some of the extracurriculars and some of the other educational funding areas that are short and continually are needing more money.
By relying more on community-scale renewable energy and energy efficiency, communities can protect natural resources and create local economic development opportunities. People everywhere want strong communities, good jobs, and secure, clean, reliable energy. Central Region CERT members hope that this film will inspire viewers to join their regional clean energy resource team, and they hope that it has provided good information and context for the clean energy projects and leaders within their communities. Finally, they hope that this film inspires viewers to begin clean energy projects in their own homes, businesses, schools, churches, and communities. Together, we can help shape Minnesota's clean energy future.